if my husband and I pass away and we've got children who are 6 and 3, and what we own is probably more debt than asset, what type of provisions and how much detail do you need to go into the will around the provision for how do you look after, you know, the loan and that, and what happens to who looks after the children? So where does that all fall?
Okay,
what you've got listed there.
There's a couple of different issues there. The first is in respect of the children. You appoint in your will. You appoint what's called a testamentary guardian. That is someone that you want to look after the kids. It's not absolutely vital, but it does. It's much better to make an appointment. That way, families don't fight. So if you don't make an appointment by the will, you can end up with the two grandparents at one another's throat because they both want to look after the kids. So always wise to make the testamentary guardianship inside the will.
Can you put more than one?
So,
can you put more than one?
Well, you can, but you've got to. The testamentary guardian is somebody that is going to act. When I say look after the kids, we're talking about living with them. Yeah. We're not talking about. So there's not much point in putting in, you know, Fred and Mabel who live one in Brisbane and one in Melbourne. You know, you can say if Fred and Mabel are married and live in the same place, that's fine. You can say my testamentary guardian are Fred and Mabel, and because they're married and they'll have them in their home, etc.
Do you have any say beyond? So if I say my parents, and if they pass away, do I have any say beyond?
Yeah. As long as the person's accepted. I mean, again, the same issue. They've got to accept. You know, you can't force people to look after your kids. You know. If that were the case, you give them to George. You know.
Okay, sounds
more than happy. Cheap rent.
On the question of if your debts are greater than your assets, well, unfortunately that's going to be bad luck for your creditors because there's just not going to be enough money to pay them. If you're in that situation of large debts, the question I guess is, can you afford some life insurance? Because life cover can provide proceeds to pay out the debts and leave you with just so that your family gets the benefit of assets left over.
Any other questions at all? All right, we might wind it up there. I hope you've got something out of tonight. I know I certainly did. Not from Peter, but anyway, as long as you've all left tonight with you know those areas, you know more about those particular areas that we brought up. Can you please join me and thank Peter for tonight? Really appreciate it.